Hey y'all, I am finally off quarantine. Yay! So today's Monday. Last Tuesday afternoon I started feeling bad. Wednesday morning I had a fever and was positive for COVID. So I've been on quarantine ever since, and finally I'm able to get out. I've got some things I need to go pick up from town, and so I'm just so glad to be able to get out. But anyway, that's why I sound a little stuffy, if y'all notice that. So I've been trying to decide what I want to do for my next video, and I had a few thoughts that I wanted to sit down and do some things, but since I was getting out today, I thought, you know what, I'll just probably try to do a vlog. There's like a few different things on my mind that I thought I would like to mention, just talk about, just kind of be chatty. And Pretty Little Paperbacks. What is your name? Hold on, let me think. Pretty Little Paperbacks, your channel name. I remember that. Now, why can't I remember your name? This is terrible. Anyway, I'm sorry. I watch your videos and now your name is like completely, I'm blinking. I saw your video recently talking about you like to see like just the area that different people live, like our different booktubers, and I thought that would be fun to just kind of include some of that on this video maybe. And I got a little bit of reading done, and honestly this month, y'all, I've already read 4 books. Can you believe it? I've already read 4 books, which is good for my recent track record, and I'm thinking I'll probably read at least 7 books by the end of the month, because I'm halfway through another book that's kind of short, and there's just a few other books that I think I'll be able to finish up. That's kind of my reading update. I may talk about those later, to kind of give you an update on what I've been reading. I wanted to talk about, this weekend was Father's Day, and it was a little bit difficult just because of my husband's passing a year and a half ago, and holidays like that are hard. I talk about, sometimes I've mentioned a few times on Instagram and a few times on here, and I try to be very candid about my husband's passing on my Facebook page. Since he passed away, I've talked a lot about his death, some of the factors that led to his death, and things that he was going through at the time. He passed away from suicide, as a result of suicide, and just there was a lot of life situations going on, and I've been really open on my Facebook page. I've had quite a few people that have messaged me privately, have openly, talked about on Facebook how my posts encouraged them, and they appreciated me being open and vulnerable and just sharing the things that I was going through, and that it encouraged them. And so I just wanted to kind of keep that same flow on here when I do talk about these type of things. I want to be open and candid. I made up in my mind after my husband passed away that I was going to try to be open and encourage others to be open and not hide away because we're afraid of what other people are going to say or do or think. Mental illness, there's such a stigma around it, and especially, my husband was a police officer, and so especially in law enforcement, there is a high rate of suicide because officers often do not feel comfortable or okay going to therapists or going to get help when they are depressed or they have issues like this. They often feel like it will result in their job loss or being punished by their employers and stuff. And so there's a lot of stigma around it in law enforcement, and that was one of the things that I wanted to bring awareness to. But then also just even in our church circles and our church culture, being open about it, because I've had my own struggles with mental illness. I have really, really bad pure OCD, or what they call pure OCD, and that's something that it would be, I can't go into all the extensiveness of that. It is not OCD in the idea of what, the stereotypical idea that everybody has of OCD, like you have to have everything neat and tidy and clean. That's not me. My OCD is very mental, and I've had it since I was probably 15 or younger, and I didn't realize that I had it until the past 2 years. I didn't realize that was what it was. When I finally figured it out, it was such a relief. But pure OCD, to try to keep it brief, it is like mentally obsessing over things and needing absolute certainty about things. Like, you may obsess over existential things, or fears of what if you do this, or what if I do that, and just there's so much. There's religious aspects to it, and like religious fears, or self-harm fears, or fears that you're going to hurt someone else. There's like so many different categories of it, and just Google it and you'll see. But there's a lot behind it, and it is purely a mental thing where you really need to be able to not doubt something. You need to be able to have confidence that, in the right or wrong answer, like that there's a definite right or wrong answer. And obviously in life, there's not a lot of, we have to have a lot of faith in things in life. And so, anyway, hopefully any of that made sense. But I've struggled with that, and I actually 2 years ago, almost 3 years ago, I finally was able to be diagnosed and go on medication, and it has helped me tremendously, and along with just the Lord and prayer. And so I really had not talked a lot about it with anyone else until after my husband died. I was like, you know what, I'm going to be open. I'm going to start sharing my struggles, because I felt like he was in a place that he couldn't really share his struggles, and all of that just kind of, it built up in him. I say all that to say this: if you feel like I'm being too open or candid on here, I'm sorry. I don't want to make you uncomfortable. I don't want to make other people uncomfortable, and I don't want them to feel like I'm trying to influence you to feel sorry for me or anything like that. Please don't think that. But I try to be open about these things and talk about it candidly and not hide it, because I've seen in my husband's life, like, what happens when we try to keep everything in, and when we're too afraid to ask for help and get help. And so I just want to be able to encourage someone else who may have walked through depression, walked through anxiety, walked through the loss of someone they love due to suicide. Just whatever I can do to encourage someone else. That has been a huge blessing. In the middle of all of this, losing my husband, being able to have others that come up to me and say that I've encouraged them, and just seeing how God is helping me has encouraged them, that really helps me, because it brings a purpose into all of this, and it makes me realize that his death was not in vain, and that God is going to bring good out of it and get glory. And so I just want to share what I can and be an encouragement when I feel like God is leading me to. God has been faithful, so faithful, and I can truly say that he will take you through places you did not believe you would be able I never dreamed that if I ever went through something like what I've gone through, that I would be able to handle it. It's just, you think, I could never handle that. I could not deal with that. And then God takes you by the hand and he walks you through it. And sometimes he carries you when you can't walk on your own. And he is there. I'm about to run in the thrift store. I've got some things that I need to drop off. And I want to come in just see what they have. I haven't been to this thrift store in years. We're going to go in here and see what they have. Okay, y'all, so I went to 2 thrift stores. The first one, I bought like maybe 8 books and a few little glass pieces. It was actually less than $3, and I told her to just keep the change. And so then across the street there was another thrift store that I went to, and that was where I actually dropped off my donations. I found a Bible and 2 or 3 books, and those were like $1.07 for all of them. So altogether, I went to 2 thrift stores and probably got about 10 books, and I spent $5. That's really cheap. So I'll try to show y'all later on what I got. I thought I would show y'all really quickly what I got today. The books that I picked up. These first ones I got from the first thrift store that I went to. And I saw this one. It is called Framed by Gordon Corman. And it's like about a dog. It's a kid's book. It looks fun. It's a hardcover. Like a cute book. Then I got Seeing God by David Roper. Faith, Family, and Finances by Henry Fernandez. Sense and Sensibility, Honoring God with My Life, an Expositional Study of Titus 2:3-5 by Miriam Nadler. Homespun Harvest. This is a guide post book. I have several others in this series, so I thought I would pick this one up too. The Rescue by Lori Wick. A Little Golden Book. This one is Winnie the Pooh and Tigger, and it is an older one. You can tell by the back. That's an older one. It's not like super old, but it's a little bit older, so I thought it would be cute to get it. I think this edition is 1982. And then I got Just Plain Folks, Original Tales of Living, Loving, and Learning as told by a perfectly ordinary, quite commonly sensible, and absolutely awe-inspiring colored woman. short stories, like a tribute to rural African Americans and short stories. So that was interesting. And then I found this. This is another book in the series that I got one. I showed one on my last book haul. The Creative Women Mysteries. This one is A Deadly Stitch. And it is by Susan Sleeman. So those, I got all of those. That was, how many books? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 books. I found this 2 Weeks by Karen Kingsbury. What is the Father Like? A devotional look at how God cares for his children by W. Philip Keller. Delight in Your Child's Design by Lori Winslow Sargent. What's the matter? How to better understand, nurture, and enjoy your child's unique temperament. You ready for a nappy nap? Are you ready for a nappy nap? Look. Say hello. Hello. And this is a Focus on the Family book. Are you talking to? You gonna show your book? You gonna show what book you're talking about? Uh-huh. What's that book about? What's that book about? Ah! He threw it on the floor! No! No! I found this Daily Chronological Bible, New King James Version, little hardback. Sorry, y'all. Trying to figure this thing out here. I got all of those for $1.07. So those last few. But anyway, I gave her $2. So altogether $5. So that's what we got. Hey. Now I am headed to get me some lunch, and then I'm gonna go in. I'm trying to decide where I want to go, if I want to go in Walmart or somewhere else. I'm feeling a little bit tired, I think, where I've just been out, been at home resting, and now I'm getting out a little bit. It's wearing me out, but anyway. We will see what happens next. Because most of the time they're just need a little care, and they just need to be planted, watered, repotted, whatever, and they'll perk right up. So that is like one of my favorite things to do, is go look at the clearance flowers at Lowe's. Like, other than a bookstore, the garden center at Lowe's, I love going in there. It just makes me so happy. I could go every day to the garden center. But anyway, I did get some stuff from there. So I've been buying some stuff, and me and my mom have been planting it and just working on the garden out there. And so I'm having a lot of fun with that. I did a post yesterday on Facebook just kind of talking about Father's Day and how I feel like on Father's Day, the pain of absent fathers seems so acute. Whether your father has just passed away, or if you're someone that your dad walked away, or you don't have a good relationship with your dad, the absence of fathers, it seems to be so painful, I guess. And I worry even about my children because I know like what statistics say about fatherless children. Kids really need a father, and so I do worry, but at the same time, like I said in my post on Facebook, I have tried to I've taken it to God in prayer, many times, and I pray over them that God will keep them and that He will just use them in His kingdom. And I believe that He's going to, He whispers peace to me and gives me peace, and that He is a father to the fatherless. And I believe that He's going to use them. They are my arrows. When you look in Proverbs, it talks about how that as arrows in the hands of a mighty man or a mighty warrior, children are. They're like that to a man or to a woman. And our children are our arrows in the kingdom fight, and they're given to us to build the kingdom of God, and we are to raise them and instruct them and grow up and serve God and be kingdom workers. And so I know that I have 3 children that God gave me as arrows, and I believe He's going to give me wisdom in raising them, and that even though they don't have a father in their life, He will be what they need, and He will meet their needs, and He will just fill that need and that void in their life however He chooses. And so anyway, I know Father's Day can be a rough time for a lot of people, and it's a beautiful time to celebrate the excellent fathers that some of us have. Like myself, I have a good a very good dad, and my grandfathers, all wonderful men. But I know at the same time it can also be painful for some people. And so I want to encourage you that God sees and He knows, and the scripture says that He is a father to the fatherless. Just take courage in Christ and God, knowing that He sees your situation and He knows what it's like to lose a father. It's pretty clear from scripture that He lost his father at some point in his walk here on earth, and his earthly father. And so He understands our suffering when it relates to losing someone, and especially when it relates to losing, a parent and a father. And so He gets it, He understands, and He carries our grief with us. And Pretty Little Paperbacks, her channel, was talking about how she would like to see the area that everybody lives in, and this is the area that I live in. This is where my mama's side of the family grew up, and her dad, my grandpa. Good morning, everybody. So I was doing my editing last night, and I realized that I didn't really close out my video. So I just wanted to get on here and talk about a few things, and then just kind of end the video. But anyway, I am headed to work this morning, and I just wanted to kind of talk about some of the books that I have been reading. I mentioned earlier in the video that I have read 4 books this month. So I read Betsy by Sarah Monson. I got a e-arc for that, and that was a really fun read. Sarah is a super indie author, and if you're looking for some really fun rom-coms, definitely check her out. I have a review posted on my Instagram, and I will link that below. And then I read I Survived the Shark Attacks of 1916. It's one of the books in the I Survived series. It was a good read for middle grade, and it was a fun addition to the I Survived series. The Shark Attacks, I'm fascinated by those shark attacks of 1916, that whole story, and so I thought that, I enjoyed reading that. Then I read Anne of the Island, the 3rd book in the Anne of Green Gables series, and I loved it so much. I gave it 5 stars on Goodreads, I believe. My most recent book that I finished was A Light on the Hill. I believe that's the name. A Light on the Hill by Connie Lynn Cassette. It is a biblical fiction book, and I enjoyed that one as well. I enjoyed that one too. So those are what I've read. I'm currently reading a bunch of other books, but currently what I'm reading right now, The Beautiful Ashes of Gomez. I've talked about that a little bit, a few times. I was supposed to read that in May, and I just didn't get a chance to finish it. So last night I really read quite a bit in it, and I've really gotten into it. It opens up with this guy who is an alcoholic he's homeless, and he's living out in the desert, in like this little desert town in Arizona. He lives out in the bushes, and his wife was killed in a car accident several years ago, and so he basically camps out at her car crash site and drinks all day and just spends his hours there. And there is a priest who was involved in her death, and it's not a spoiler because we find this out in the first few chapters, but he was involved in the car accident, and so him and a detective in the town, and Gomez, who lives out, the one who is homeless and lives out in the bushes, they were all friends. So the detective, the priest, and Gomez were all friends, and the priest was involved in the accident that killed Gomez's wife, and that was actually what propelled him to become a priest, because he felt so much guilt over his part in the accident. It's just kind of like conflict, because there is this very slick, shady car dealership character, owner character, who basically kind of runs the town, and he is trying to get Gomez kicked off of the piece of land that he's on, because he wants to expand his car dealership into that area. And so we see the conflict between, as they're trying to the detective and Jake, the priest, they're trying to go about this in a way that kind of handles everything in a gentle way. So it's interesting. I really like it. It's very dialogue heavy, and a little bit different than anything I've read lately, and so I really enjoy it. And then I'm also reading, it's a book by Timothy Keller. I'm trying to remember the name. A nonfiction Christian book. Encounters with Jesus, I believe is what it's called. And he's basically just walking through different encounters in the Bible that various people had with Jesus, and kind of just teaching from those and giving lessons from those about, you know, important things in our Christian walk with the Lord. So those are the ones that I'm really enjoying right now. I have a few others that I'm also kind of reading slowly. I'm slowly reading The Scarlet Letter by Nathaniel Hawthorne. That one I really haven't gotten into yet. It's still kind of in the prologue, or whatever you would call it, like an introductory chapter, which is pretty long. So anyway, that's what I'm reading, and I am hoping to get this video posted later today. Thank y'all for watching. I enjoy talking with y'all, and hopefully this style of video is not, hopefully y'all enjoy it, and maybe you can be encouraged in something that I said. And anyway, thank y'all for watching. Bye bye.